All right. So for this week's assignment, covering assessments, I'll be covering what my district uses, which is the Ames Web testing. They utilize Ames Web for reading as well as math. Um, there's ups and downs to Ames Web, and we'll get into that in a second. Um, it's usually for our ninth graders, which is a majority of my caseload. Um, and they take it in the fall and again in the spring, and those results are sent out during progress reports, um, mostly to measure progression in that particular goal, reading or math. My district, we eliminate all fluency goals in high school unless you are specifically in a reading class, because just the English class does not or is not going to test for fluency. Um, so the Ames Web will help to measure that comprehension and the vocabulary piece, which will um, become more effective reading goals for our kids as they progress through their high school academics. Um, as far as how it's utilized, if the kids aren't meeting the mark for Ames Web in middle school, then they're put into the tier two supports for reading or math. And then the next Ames Web, if they test high, they'll be moved back into the general tier one supports. Excuse me. Um, this they're just really trying to emphasize the MTSS approach and getting kids the right and proper supports. Doing a little research, the Ames Web testing is supposed to be valid and reliable for kindergarten through eighth graders, but students with deficits or lacking of a skill set for high school can take the assessment and then also be a valid and reliable test. Um, for me, it gets difficult. I looked at one Ames Web assessment, and the student, it took him 5 minutes to complete a reading assessment. Um, that's not a valid test score to me, just because the student clicked through it. 5 minutes for a reading assessment is no time at all, and so you really got to dig into the data. Um, did the student actively participate? Did the student give their best, shot at what they were doing, or did they just click through it to get it done? Because if they just click through it, it's not going to help them to put them in a SPED related service just because they scored low. Because they scored low due to the fact that they did not try on the assessment. Um, Once the assessments are shown for Ames Web, if it is low, that student's flagged for our SIT team, and then we progress and start the possible referral process and possible getting that student into SPED related services. So Ames Web's kind of the tip of the iceberg. Uh, take it as you will. Um, if the student does their best, it's a great form to help measure goals, like I said, for reading and math. But if the student just clicks through it, it is not the most reliable, just because it could take 5 minutes and they'll produce a score for reading or math, unless they're just amazing test takers, then it's probably not going to be your best bet. So yeah, um, Ames Web, that's pretty much it.